When we think of the Indian subcontinent's history, the mind immediately jumps to stone. We picture the towering sandstone walls of massive forts, the impossible wealth of emperors, and intricate palaces built to project absolute power. Beyond the palace gates, a different kind of history flows through the landscape. Deep ecological networks and water systems provide a dynamic record of how this civilization has evolved with its environment, actively shaping the daily survival of millions. To read the history of this land, we can look at 5 specific landmarks. We can trace the architectural perfection of the Taj Mahal and the royal footprint of the Mysore Palace, but we must also map the sculpted hills of the Munnar tea estates, the plunging cascades of Dudhsagar Falls, and the sprawling liquid labyrinth of the Kerala backwaters. These locations represent 2 opposing forces. On one hand, the boundless imagination and megalomania of rulers intent on bending the earth to their will. On the other, the breathtaking power of Mother Nature, dictating the terms of human survival. Watching how these 2 forces clash, compromise, and balance each other reveals exactly how a civilization negotiates with its environment over centuries. In 1631, Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan lost his 3rd wife, Mumtaz Mahal. Consumed by grief and driven by an ego that saw his rule as divine, he ordered the construction of a tomb designed to outlast human memory itself. This visualization shows the staggering logistical scale of what Shah Jahan demanded. The complex stretches nearly a full kilometer in length, requiring a deployed workforce of 20,000 people to dig the massive foundation wells along the Yamuna riverfront. Looking at this map of the 17th century supply chain, you can see how resources were extracted across the continent. A fleet of 1,000 elephants hauled brilliant white marble from Makrana in Rajasthan, while 28 distinct varieties of precious and semi-precious stones, including turquoise from Tibet, sapphire from Arabia, and jade from China, were funneled into Agra. The final structure is an exercise in absolute precision. The exterior marble facings were cut and polished to react to the shifting angles of sun, creating an ethereal quality that changes depending on the light and weather. Centuries later, and 1,000 miles south in Karnataka, the Mysore Palace displays a similar drive to project absolute authority. The sprawling facades and vibrant red domes cement a specific royal identity directly into the skyline. These structures represent a total domination of the immediate landscape. They are immense wealth, grief, and political power frozen permanently into immutable stone. But traveling down the Malabar coast reveals a completely different canvas. Here, the landscape isn't carved, it flows. This map of the Kerala coastline outlines a hydrographic network spanning 900 kilometers. It is a labyrinth of 5 major lakes, 38 feeding rivers, and countless interconnected brackish lagoons. Zooming in on the hydrology here, you can see the precise ecological mechanism at work. Fresh water pouring down from the Western Ghats collides with seawater from the Arabian Sea. At points like the Tanyar Mokum Barrage, engineered barriers actively prevent saltwater intrusion, protecting a delicate, internationally recognized Ramsar wetland. Slightly up the coast in Goa, Dudhsagar Falls illustrates the raw, unbridled power feeding these watersheds. Geography here is massive and indifferent to human ambition. Consequently, the people of the South did not try to pave over this environment. They navigated. Traditional ketuvalams, long, thatched wooden barges, were deployed to transport heavy grain harvests through the dense, palm-fringed canals. This intimate relationship with the water even became a competitive spectacle. In the famed snakeboat races, crews of 100 rowers synchronized their strokes in massive, narrow wooden hulls, turning local transit into an adrenaline-fueled cultural tradition. Unlike the rigid perfection of imperial palaces, the beauty of India's natural monuments lies in how human culture bends and adapts to an unpredictable ecosystem. Somewhere between pure architecture and raw nature sits a middle ground, landscapes sculpted and cultivated over generations, like the sprawling, meticulously terraced Munnar tea estates. This cross-section illustrates the staggering agricultural ingenuity required to farm the nearby Kutanad region. The rice paddies here are situated up to 3 meters below sea level. Through an ancient system of constructed dikes and freshwater irrigation, locals carved out a highly productive farming zone from the submerged earth. It is a display of human engineering applied not to build a monument of vanity, but to shape the land for survival and trade. The marble walls of Agra and the red domes of Mysore were designed to freeze history in place. They are monuments to be guarded, meticulously maintained, and admired from a distance. Keeping them frozen has required intense intervention. By the late 19th century, the Taj Mahal had fallen into severe disrepair, its walls picked clean of precious stones, until British Viceroy Lord Curzon ordered a sweeping, multi-year restoration project to halt the decay. Conversely, locations like the Kerala Backwaters or the Munnar estates function as living history. These ecosystems remain active participants in the modern world, yielding crops and supporting local trade through the same natural infrastructure that has sustained them for centuries. Whether you are standing in the shadow of a 17th century marble lattice or floating along an ancient lagoon, you are watching the same story unfold: the endless, complex negotiation between the ambition of humanity and the overwhelming wonder of the natural world.